Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Aditya Nugroho, and today I would like to practicing some advanced phrases for presentation. Okay, so let's start with welcoming your audience. First, it's lovely to see many familiar faces here today. I'm very grateful to you all for taking the time to be here today. Next is introducing yourself. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Aditya Nugroho, the CEO of this company. Let me start by telling you a little bit about my own background. I'm Aditya Nugroho, the CEO of this company. Next is stating the goal of your presentation. What I intend, plan, or hope to do is blah 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 blah. The reason I'm here today is to talk about blah 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 blah. I'm here to say a few words about blah 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 blah, explaining why the topic is relevant. This talk should be of particular interest to those of you who blah 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 blah. By the end of this afternoon's talk, you'll know how to, or you'll be familiar with blah 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 blah. What I hope you'll get from my talk presentation is a clear view or better idea of blah 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 blah. Next is introducing the first topic. I would like to begin by drawing your attention to blah 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 blah. Let's begin by looking at blah 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 blah. Finishing a topic. That's all I want to say about this topic for the time being. So that's the background on continuing with another topic. The next point I'd like to talk about is this leads me directly to my next point, which is blah 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 blah. Highlighting information. As far as I'm concerned, the main issue here is the significance of this is blah blah blah. I cannot emphasize this strongly enough. Paraphrasing. In other words, put simply blah 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 blah. To put it another way, blah 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 blah. Common knowledge. As you are all aware, blah 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 blah. As I'm sure you all know, blah 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 blah. Referring to points you mentioned earlier. If you remember, I touched upon this point earlier. As I mentioned or pointed out earlier, blah 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 blah. Digressing. While we're on the subject of blah 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 blah, I would like to briefly mention blah 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 blah. If I can just digress for a moment, blah 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 blah. Now getting back to the topic. Coming back to the main point, blah 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 blah. Getting back to my main point, blah 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 blah. Summarizing. Finally, let me remind you of the main points we covered or looked at or considered today. Let me briefly summarize the main points. Next is concluding. I'd like to finish with something person once said. Blah 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 blah. Let me just finish with a question. Blah 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 blah. And the last one is thanking the audience and inviting them to ask questions. Thank you very much for being such an attentive at the audience. If you have any questions, I'd happy to answer them now. Or any question? Thank you. That's it for my video. Hope you like. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.